4, what's the answer? Andrew Jackson. At one time that happened, yes. Number 5, what I'm going to do on the test is I'll probably give you the definition. I will have something like a group that seeks to elect candidates to public office by supplying them with an identity label is a what? And it'll be, a blank. Is that fair? I give you the definition, you put in the word. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Here's how the question's going to look. What are the roots of our political attitudes? All right. The one question's going to be like this. It's going to say, what are the roots of your political attitudes? All right. And describe to me which is the most important in your life. You. Right? I mean, that's what I'm going to ask you. But you got to remember there's other questions as well, you guys, that I'm going to ask from this on other parts of the test. How about something like this? True or false? Now, we know it's family, religion, gender, and education. We looked at, there's other things, but that's what we looked at in this class, okay? So let's ask you a question that I might have on the test. True or false? Jews tend to vote more conservatively in elections. Okay, false. That's right. The Jewish vote always goes liberal. Okay. What if I had a question like this? Men predominantly continue to vote liberal. False. False. Women predominantly tend to vote liberal. True. They do. Do all women? No. But when we look at the percentages, we see that more women tend to vote more liberal. I remember men and women are different. Men and women, when I hold up a handgun, all right, that's going to draw different feelings. Okay? And I told you, before each of us starts saying that we're right and the other one's wrong, I want you to be, all right, critical thinkers, and I want you to be able to put yourselves in the shoes of someone else. To a woman, that might represent what? Danger. They're often the targets of attack and rape by men with guns. I want you to remember that, men. And women, sometimes when men see guns, stalking them to harvest so we can feed our family. You understand that, don't you? Perceptions are formed by what? Experiences in life. And I certainly am smart enough, hope I am, to understand why women, through their personal experiences with guns, might feel threatened. Does that make sense, man? So, I want you to remember that. Those are kind of some of the questions. What if I had a question like this? All right. Fred has a PhD in environmental biology. Fred would more than likely vote conservative. True or false? Thank you. Fred has a PhD in environmental biology. Fred's going to vote more what? He's going to probably vote more liberal, right? Yeah, more liberal. So now, do I even want to do this, number 7? This has been just a nightmare all day again. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you look at your answers before, all right, we tell you what they are. And I'm going to put this up on the board again. Did you notice here with number 7, I gave you, all right, 2 different issues, government subsidies for food and random drug testing, that's all. And then I just switched them up, okay, because this has been a nightmare. And you know what? I'm not going to lose any sleep and I'm not going to get too upset, all right? And the reason why I'm not, what did we say here in America? Do we have a 2-party system? Not only because it's winner-take-all and plurality, all right, types of elections. We don't have runoffs. Is the other thing that Americans just like 2 broad categories. Do you not like more labels? Do you just like to say, stock, I need it easy? You know, oftentimes politicians and political scientists use these terms, conservative and liberal, and a lot of times you guys don't know what they mean. Now, if I ask you a series of questions on a test and it comes out, hey, stock, I'm more conservative, I still don't know if you know what that means all the time. And then when I add more labels, you got a guy like Rand Paul. Rand Paul, you guys, trying to get the Republican nomination. He's in the lead right now. Do I think he'll win it? No. Because I think he's too libertarian. you're going to have a Libertarian candidate run this year too. Rand Paul's running as a Republican because he knows he can't win as a Libertarian because it's third-party candidacy. So, but yeah, you should know that you have other options and what they are. So let's try this again in here, okay? Please, if we're looking at an economic issue, liberals, okay, and conservatives. Let's try this one. Economic issue and a social issue. If you're more liberal on economic issues, you want more government intervention. You're not afraid of higher taxes to provide more services, okay? You're not afraid of higher taxes so the government can regulate industries, okay? You're more liberal. If you're more conservative, less government. Smaller taxes, less regulation, get government out of the free market. Right? On social issues, this is the hard one. If you're more liberal, you're more unorthodox, or you want to try and preserve civil liberties. All right? We're talking about how far you can wear your pants, or how about this? I'll give you one the kids could identify with. Don't we have a current law as to when kids can get tattoos? All right? Right? In Minnesota, is that what it is?
I think so.
Okay, and I don't know what Minnesota's law is, right?
16 and you can apparently.
So, if you're in favor of allowing kids to get tattoos at 16, would you be more liberal or would you be more conservative? You're in favor of letting kids get them, right? Are you more liberal or conservative? Liberal. That's much more unorthodox. Preserve kids' liberties. They have rights. They should go, right? If you're more conservative, you're more traditional. You want to curb antisocial behavior, and getting a tattoo at 16, you're more conservative, you're more rigid, you don't, right? So you understand what I'm saying there. So now, this is what I wanted you to do here for these questions. Remember, if we're going to crisscross these, that's populism, and that's libertarianism. So you have to know that for the test. You're going to get these right and do a better job of them. So let's try and see if you did these right. Let's see, Chloe's got a pretty good handle on this, I think. So Chloe, what did you have for the first one? Very good, liberal. All right. If you're for government subsidies of food production, that means tax the people and then pay the farmers to make food. That's bigger government. And at the same time, you're against random school drug testing to preserve people's liberties. You can't go into their blood. That's liberal. More government in the economy to help farmers, all right? More taxes, all right? Go to the farmers to produce food. And then, no, get government out of my life here. Yeah, you're not doing random drug testing, so that's liberal. Okay? What do you have, Chloe, for the next one? That is correct, libertarian. What do you have the next one, Chloe? All right, or we would say populism. Okay, remember statist. It is statism. It is, Chloe. But just make sure that you know your terms, okay? Statism or populism, and then what's the last one? Conservative. Very good. Okay, that's what your answer should be. Let's go to the next page.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, sorry, Chloe. There, Katie, yep, what do you have?
What was 3 and 4 or something?
Populism and conservatism. Now, you ask me any questions if I don't understand something. Take a look at that one, Kaylee. Are you on number 3, Kaylee? Okay, take a look at number 3 once. You're for government subsidies of food production. So on an economic issue, more government intervention, right? But then it says, all right, you favor random school drug testing, so you're more traditional on a social issue. So that's populism. State. You want the state to help here, and you want the state, all right, to curb, all right, then drug use. Okay? How many people got all of those right on that number 7? I'm just curious. 1, 2, that's better than the earlier hours. All right? It really is. I got 4 in 1 hour, maybe 3 in another. Okay? So go to number 8. Bad question. My apologies, but I tried to make it easier when I put who should have the power here. What's the big discussion today when we're looking at nominating candidates for the general election? Remember, you have 2 elections. You have 2 of them. You guys never vote in one of them, but there are 2. You've got the primary season, and then you also have the general election. Right? So what's the big discussion? Remember, in the old days, men in smoke-filled rooms would pick candidates. How are the candidates now nominated today? Who gets to pick them? The people do. The only problem is the people that come out to vote, all right, in the primaries, remember what I said in Minnesota, we get about 10% that come out and vote. Those people tend to be the more ideological. These are your primary voters. All right, right here, out toward the wings, primary. That's an arrow. So if the people are picking the candidates today, and they're your die-hard ideological people that show up at the polls in the primaries, they might be picking candidates that are what? Too far to the right, too far to the left, and as a result, they might not be picking the best candidates, just the candidates that are more conservative and more liberal. Rick Santorum is talking about running for the presidency again. Rick Santorum is here. Did really well last time. The Republicans have always done a better job during the nominating elections. They select the delegates differently, but they've always done a better job. John McCain was a pretty good pick. Mitt Romney. They like to pick people who are electable. The Democrats have been picking people way over here for years. Electability issues. All right? So back in the old days when it was corrupt, and men in smoke-filled rooms were trying, obviously, to get a certain party into office so they could get government contracts, and they'd offer then, obviously, people jobs if they vote for these candidates, and then everybody was happy because they had a job, because the government would offer them jobs. It was really corrupt. But the difference is that they picked candidates who could win. Today, it seems like that's a problem. Okay? So it really is, all right, a conflict between you, the people, picking the candidates, all right, versus the party bosses, the machines. That's what it really is there. Okay, so make sure you know that. Number 9, describe how candidates must prepare for the primary election versus the general. We'll take a look at this once. If you're running for office and you're Mitt Romney, let's use Mitt as an example, because the president was an incumbent. If you're running for office and you're Mitt Romney and it's the primary season, well, who's the people who come out and vote in the primaries are more conservative? Well, you better talk about how Romney care, all right, really wasn't socialized medicine. You better talk about how you're a strong pro-life advocate. You better carry a shotgun with you wherever you go, all right? Your Second Amendment rights and a gun with you. You've really got to appeal to the more conservative groups of people who show up. If you want to get nominated, you better do that. But then what happens when you are nominated? Now you got to appeal to who? You got to appeal to everybody. You want to win the presidency. And in the general election, we got a lot of people who come out and vote, not just the diehards. Okay, so that's what you really have here. During the primary, you go to the edges, the more ideological extremes. In the general election, you go back to the middle. That's what the answer is. Why was the Electoral College formed? Make sure that you know this because it's a great controversy in America. The founders did not trust popular opinion. You know, a demagogue could play in the passions and fears of the people, so they did not trust popular majority. All right? They felt that it was okay for you to vote for a president, but it should be a battle between the states. You'd have to win a majority of the states, not a majority of the people, and that's very different. Okay? And then they also felt that the large states might have an advantage, once again, because of population. So there's a couple reasons that they didn't really care for care for popular opinion in picking this. They created an electoral college. Number 11, all right, you need a plurality to win all of the state's electoral votes. Okay, number 12. Yep.
Number 11, the polarity, is it just 50% plus 1?
That's majority. So let's do this again here, Spandelli. All right, let's do this again here. I'm going to draw a little Minnesota. Might be one of my best ever. Oh, baby, don't even say it. That's unbelievable. Okay, you've got 8 representatives, 2 senators, these 10 electoral votes, right? If Mitt Romney, let's just say that Ron, all right, has 47% of the vote, and Barack Obama, all right, gets 48%.